Hi everyone, it's Gail, and it is Mixed Media Monday. I am going to show you what my next projects are going to be. I'm going to work on getting the cover, one of the covers done. I got stuff to do. But I think it's going to be one of those days where we can have a big chat. So I am going to attempt to answer some of the questions that come up kind of over and over again while we're working, hopefully. So let's say hi and hugs. Hi and hugs to Tatiana, Cindy, Donna, and Debbie. Thank you so much for watching and for your kind comments always. Okay, well, let's look at what I'm thinking for my next project. So I purchased, is this it? I can't remember which one's which. Oh, this is from Roxy Creations, her long, tall, skinny Christmas kit. And so I thought I'd do a tall, skinny just for something a little bit different. And then I printed out all the Christmas kits of hers that I have. And those I'm going to do an altered book. I've had a lot of requests for that. So that's my plan. But I've had requests to do a document journal. And so that's what this one's going to be, right? Okay, so I'm going to set those aside. My thought was I would like to do a Amazon package tall cover, and I want to use Momagami. I did one in the regular size and it turned out so cool, and actually I did two of them, I think. Anyway, they just have such an awesome texture to them. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to just get this ready, and then we're just going to do the Momagami. So that's why I thought we could have ourselves a little chat. I think we'll just take that off of there. Okay, so I want this to be, 12 and a half, which I can go this way. Perfect. 12 and a half by, I'm thinking 4 and a quarter, 8.5, 4 and a quarter. Could maybe do 5. 12 and a half by 5. Okay. So I am going to do this 10 inches across this away. That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully this, you know what, this one may not go through it. I think my blade is a bit dull. So let's get the big boy up here. Okay. Ugh. Jeez. Okay, I think I'm situated now. So I'm just going to try and feed that through here. And we are going to do 10 inches this way. Okay. Oh boy, that cut like butter. Okay, how big is this one? Oh, okay, that's little. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry that snuck up on me. 8.5-ish. So I don't know, maybe make tags out of that or something. Okay, I'm not going to do the other side because I don't have a plan for it just now. But, okay, so that's 10. And then I want this to be 12 and a half. Okie dokie. So that is going to be folded like this for a tall skinny. Okay, let me get rid of this big boy. Okay, so what we're going to do is Momagami to get it drying, and so I can use it on that cover. Okay, so what do I have? And I want to do a topper. So I don't know if we'll get it all done today, but we're gonna get going. This is just some Amazon paper, which I hesitate to use because I know they sometimes take designs, but some things like this, I could use that. I could use not blue. This one doesn't really look like, let's spin. Yeah, early on, I did not know about that situation. So maybe one of those two. Okay. So that's that. And then this is another one. And I choose these because they're kind of thin. This one, oh, that's the cover sheet. That's why. Maybe that one. I think I want plaid. No. Okay. And then I'm going to use, which works the absolute best, I'm going to use the Paper Studio. This is Theodosia Square 2, I think. And I thought if there's some, see, like, I think this might work because on the Roxy Creations, she uses very soft colors, you know, so I'm thinking, and then I thought some greens maybe this one. There's good green. See what else we've got here that jumps out at us as could be. Isn't Christmas, but we'll go with the colors kind of. Not that I have to use all these, but you know, if they're ready. And I haven't done any Momagami in a while, and I'm down to almost nothing after going absolutely crazy making it at my retreat. That might not be bad. Big ambitions, huh? Lots of papers. Ooh, that's a good one too. No. It's kind of like, why not? You're going to end up using them, whether you use them for this cover or something else. Maybe this one too. Okay, good enough. Now, onward and upward on the Momagami. Where I'm going to lay all this to dry, I have no idea. But, okay, so let's do this one. And I think most of you have probably seen me make the Momagami before, and so it'll be just sort of a refresher. And for those who haven't, this is how you do it. It's super easy. Oh, I wanted to take off my rings. Let's see, where could I set them so they don't fall into somewhere? Maybe I'll just set them right up here. Okay, my rings have gotten a little bit loose. I've lost a few pounds, if you can believe that, and so yeah, they're getting a little wiggly. I might have to stop wearing them if I continue on this path. Okay, so I'm rubbing hand lotion on this side, and then I'm going to rub it on the other side, and then and then we're going to squish up this paper. And yeah, I'm going to go through this. I might need to go get some more. This beautiful lotion, my pal Joey sent me for my birthday because he knew I was crazy about the Momagami. So we are using Cherry Blossom right now. It's kind of nice though, because then your paper smells really good. So yeah, I've had it just up there so that I could grab it when my hands are dry, because boy, working with paper, your hands get dry, don't they? Okay, now I'm going to just squish it. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, I wanted to answer some questions while we're doing this process, because obviously it's just the same thing over and over again, but then very gently pull it apart because it can rip, but it gives it such an awesome texture. A couple questions about the Momagami that I've gotten multiple times is it sticky? And it's not. Once it dries, it's not sticky at all. So it's just soft. It's like fabric, but it's just really, really soft. So I don't know, that crinkled up really nicely. I think only 2 crinkles and I'm good. Got a little tear here, but I'm going to use it for collage, so it really doesn't matter, right? Okay, so I'm just going to plop those over my sewing machine for the moment as we get them done. Okay, so I've had several questions recently about how did you get started making journals? And I have always done crafty things. I mean, ever since I was a little girl, I drew and I painted and colored, of course, and all that stuff. And then in middle school, I took home ec and learned to sew. And then where I needed, my mom filled in, you know, but love to sew. First thing I think that I made was a little skirt, a little elastic waist skirt, and I thought, oh my gosh, I could make my own clothes. How fun is that? And so yeah, so that's what got me started sewing. My grandma is a quilter, my mom's mom, and so I had an appreciation for that. And after college, I started making just patchwork quilts, because you know me, I didn't have the patience to be too precise, so patchwork is about the extent of it. I guess one Christmas I made my daughter a t-shirt quilt out of all of her college volleyball t-shirts. So I mean, that's kind of been the extent of what I've done there. But yeah, and then my mom taught me to crochet, so I crocheted, made it through college crocheting this afghan that was multicolored. Like I had, I don't know, 15 skeins different colored yarn, and just made stripes, you know. I remember sitting on my dorm bed just crocheting away, because, you know, we didn't have phones to look at in those days. So anyway, yeah, so all sorts of things. Well, probably, oh man, probably now it's been 12 years ago or something, I got into mixed media art and loved that. I loved it because it was just messy and fun, and no rules, no, you know, anything like that. And really enjoyed doing that. So then I started looking on YouTube for mixed media type videos. And so I watched Shannon Green and gosh, what was that other gal's name? I can't remember them all. But anyway, watched the mixed media, and all these recommended videos kept coming up for junk journals. And I was like, no, I'm a mixed media artist. And then I don't know, one night or day or something, I decided, oh, I'm just going to watch this one. Well, I was hooked. So some of my early people that I watched on YouTube with journal making, Lori Girl on the Ridge was one. I loved her style. I have several of her journals myself. And let's try one of these little ones. I don't know, they're a little bit thicker, so we'll see how that's going to work. But anyway, I watched Lori Girl on the Ridge, and I watched Yvonne Preston, and I watched Tracy Fox, and gosh, what was her name? Shoot, Paula. Oh, maybe it'll come to me. I'm sorry. But anyway, I watched Rita Donnelly. I watched Crafty Irina. And what I loved about junk journaling is I could incorporate everything. I did jewelry making for a long time. Used to sell jewelry at craft sales. You know, and you can make the dangles for the journals, which I haven't done in a long time. I guess maybe that's a forgotten friend I need to revisit. But yeah, so anyway, I had started making videos already. My first video, I believe, was in June of 2016. And mixed media, you know, well, the first one was my en masse journal, which was a Shannon Green idea, and loved it, still love it. I pull that thing out, and just the weight of it and how it feels, I absolutely love my en masse journal. If you search Gail Augustinelli en masse, EN and then MASSE, that videos will come up. Oh my gosh, that's really yummy. Okay, so that worked well, the little one. So we'll do some more. Well, that's plenty. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I got into junk journals. Was I was, you know, in the mixed media, looking at all of that, and just the recommendeds came up. I think a lot of you, often somebody will say, I just subscribed, you just came up on my recommendeds. So yeah. And let's see. So that's kind of how it got started. I used to sew for my kids. I used to make them matching pajamas, all four of them, for Christmas Eve. And you know, just for my first, I don't know how many grandkids, I made them quilts, you know. So I've always done crafty things. Embroidery, I did embroidery, so I love the slow stitching. If my hands would cooperate a little bit better, it'd be lovely. But I can only do it for so long. I can't do it hours on end, which is what I want to do. Oh my gosh, these are Okay, let's try one of these and see how that goes. Yeah, so I hope that answers that question. Now, you might be wondering on this, why are you getting the lotion all over your mat? Well, it almost is like it conditions the mat. So I don't put anything underneath while I'm doing this, because as much as it makes my hands happy, it makes the mat happy too. So I will put these out somewhere, just one by one, and give it a day or two to get itself all sorts of dry, and then we can work on the cover. But yeah, so let's see, what other questions do we have? I get a lot of questions about supplies, starting with paper. So I've answered it a gazillion times at least. And but I will tell you one more time. Whoopsie, that one tore, but that's okay. Like I say, it's all gonna be collage fodder anyway. Now that's pretty good. I think one more time. I don't know how you tell one more time, other than if it's not quite crinkly enough for you, give it another crinkle. Yeah, so paper. So printing digitals, what papers do I use? So for journal pages, I use 26-pound matte photo paper from Red River Paper Company. Let's see, I think I'm going to use the rest of this on these little ones, and then I'll switch fragrances. 26-pound matte photo paper, and I love it because it captures the colors really well, and so that's great. And then also it's a good weight, it's not too thick, not too thin. For collage, generally, if I know I'm going to use a digital just for collage, I just use cheap copy paper. No sense using the good stuff, really, because it just is all going to be torn up and everything. So, and then I try and do tags and journal cards on a lightweight cardstock. My printer won't take very heavy cardstock, and so yeah, so that's what I do with those. Still waiting for my printer to come. I think I told you guys my printer died. Oh, I'm telling you though, if there's one tool that you need, it's a printer, that's for sure. So I've really struggled without it. Like, I have Etsy orders that I can't fulfill because my printer died. So anyway, what printer do I have? Well, the model that I have that died, it has been discontinued. But I've had that thing for probably 4 years, if not 5, and it has worked its tail off. I love the Epson EcoTank printers because they will print 4,500 colored copies before they need ink. And I had an HP before, and I was going broke buying ink for it. So there's that. But anyway, the one that's over there idle, they've discontinued that model. So I got an Epson EcoTank ET3830 is what I got. So we'll see how I like it. I'll give you a little product review on that coming up. So, but I just wanted to get here. Mike said, he said, I think we ought to get some little cheap black and white printer that if your printer goes out, you can still do your Etsy orders. And I'm like, okay, that's what we need to do. So I think we might go this afternoon and pick something up. So, so there's that with the printers. My sewing machine is a Singer Stylist, which is a pretty reasonably priced printer, and it's got, what is it, like 99 stitches or something. I tend to use straight and zigzag for sure. And then the one that I use most after that, it's number 61 on my sewing machine, and it's the leaf. It has like a line that goes like this, and then there's leaves on it. I use that quite a bit too. So so that's the scoop with sewing machine. What other tools do I have? My crocodile corner punch and my crocodile eyelet setter are right by me because I use them all the time. That and the punches for the tops of tags. So I have a lot of punches. I went to an estate sale years ago, and they had like literally tables full of punches, and they were like $2 and $3. And back then even Martha Stewart punch could be $20, so I grabbed a bunch of those, and so I have a lot of punches. I don't use them as much as I could or should, I don't think. So so there's that. So let's see. I do have Sizzix Big Shot. Again, I don't use it as much as I probably should for die cuts and embossing and stuff. I also have a little, I'll have to bring that out. That would be a good forgotten friend. But I have a little, it's shaped like a purse. I don't think they make it anymore, but it's a tiny little embossing folder thing. It's just a smaller version. My hands are getting slippery. Things are starting to slide here. So that's what other tools do I have that I use? I think that's about it. I'm looking around my room going, well, the cutter, of course, stuff like that, but that's pretty obvious. And yeah, so let's see, what other questions? I don't know, what's my favorite thing about being on YouTube? Well, definitely it's you guys. I have made so many lovely friends, and yeah, that has been the absolute best part. I struggle a little bit with Instagram. Anybody who follows me on Instagram knows I hardly ever post. It can become a bit overwhelming, all these different, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Etsy. It's crazy. I spend a good at least 3 hours, usually more, but at least 3 hours answering comments on YouTube, answering correspondence, answering questions, and that sort of stuff. So it's definitely a commitment. I mean, Mike always asks me when I'm going to retire. I'm like, I am retired, except for I work harder than when I worked at a job. Oh, happily, he's very supportive, but yeah. Uh-oh, got that one real tight. Come on, open up here. There we go. Yeah, so so it's been a real blessing in my retirement because I'm not a person that can be idle for very long. And so, yeah. So let's see, what else? What else have you guys asked me about? Oh, I still get questions, and it kills me every time, but I still get questions about Jimmy Joe, our dog. People who used to watch and haven't or missed it or whatever. But so gosh, it's been now over 2 years. We had our little Jimmy Joe. We got him as a puppy, and when he was a little over 10 months old, we donated him to the college where I used to work. They have an anthrozoology program where they train the students to be therapists with dogs and horses too and stuff. And so and the reason we did that is Jimmy Joe was eating the rocks in our yard. Our yard is probably a good 25% rock, river rock. And he just could not, he had a big surgery to get them out of his stomach and his intestines. And then he came home, and first thing he did was go to the rocks. So it was like we were, our home was not compatible for Jimmy Joe. So anyway, we made the extremely difficult decision to have him go find his calling, which he did. And if you missed that, last winter, I was at my friend Diane's retreat, and this old friend of mine was there. We were good friends when our kids were little, and I actually babysat her son. He was the same age as my oldest daughter, and they were both in morning kindergarten. So I would take him. My friend, she was the German teacher at the high school, and so she was working, and I was still a stay-at-home mom. And so anywho, I took care of her son. Well, her son grew up to be one of our treasured military. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq, and he was injured. I don't know how or where, but he was injured, and then he started teaching. But anyway, I had lost contact really after the kids were out of high school and stuff. Okay, now we've got a little ocean bliss happening. Oops. Well, this ought to be interesting with my slippery hands. So anyway, she was at this retreat. Well, long story short, she was showing me some pictures, and here was Jimmy Joe. So after they finished the program at the anthrozoology, okay, this is ridiculous. There we go. The dogs are put out to be adopted, and people have to apply and everything. Well, probably because he's a veteran, he won the application process, and he and his family have Jimmy Joe. So it was very much a full circle moment, and such awesome closure for me. Oh my gosh, I because I mourn the loss of that dog all the time. I still do, almost, you know, more than 2 years later, because he was my boy. But now he's taking care of one of my other boys. So it's all good. There's a reason for everything, isn't there? So yeah, see, I'm teary just talking about it. So we'll move on to a different subject. Oh gosh. Let's see, what other things. How do I sell my journals? They're on my Etsy shop. Cinnamon Tea is the name of my Etsy shop. And it is named Cinnamon Tea because I used to have a shop here in town, a bricks, you know, little brick and mortar's house, or shop. It felt like my house. I was there a lot. But it's in this area of Helena. It's called Reader's Alley, and it's all brick. Like there's a brick cobblestone walk, and all the little buildings are brick. It's been there forever, since the mining days. And I had a little shop in there that had vintage finds and reinvigorated furniture, that and all of that. And anyway, my little shop, I wanted it to be called something that made me feel nostalgic, made me feel cozy, warm, and loved. And that's what cinnamon toast did for me. My mom used to make me cinnamon toast, especially in the mornings. I didn't always get it, but it was special mornings when I'd get cinnamon toast. So I named it Cinnamon Toast. Well, I went to make my Etsy shop, and cinnamon toast was already taken. So it became Cinnamon Tea. And my family calls it CT for short. So, yeah. So that's how I started my Etsy. Well, my journals on my Etsy, when I first started, I would do video and do a flip through and show the journal and say when it was going to be listed. Well, then as I got more viewers, I got so many messages about people being disappointed they didn't get it, and I was on, and I refreshed and I refreshed and I refreshed, and I didn't see it. And anyway, I was spending hours then answering those comments after listing a journal. So at that time, I kind of shifted, and now I list them randomly, and the universe decides who's going to get the journal. Once I finish it, I put it on based around, honestly, my schedule, because if we're traveling for the kids' sports, then I don't list it, because I don't like to list things and be traveling. I want to be able to, you know, get them right out and everything. So yeah, so that's how all that kind of came to be. Yeah, it's been interesting along this journey of having a YouTube channel, and all. There's been things that have had to, you know, boundaries that have had to be made, which, you know, I guess at 67 years old, it's about time I learned how to create boundaries for myself. So there's that. And then things have had to shift, like deciding, okay, I can't broadcast when it's going to be listed, because then there's too many things to answer afterwards of people who didn't get it. So that's one of the things that I've shifted. But what I did then, one of the benefits my patrons on Patreon get is several times a year, at least 4 times a year, if not more, I do an early bird notification and tell them exactly when it will be listed. And that's worked great. I don't think maybe there's been once that someone that's not a patron has grabbed it up. So that's been a good thing for my patrons. So yeah, and I used to, when I first started, I did custom orders. If I was doing something, doing a journal on camera and somebody said, oh, I want one of those, or they would speak for that journal, say, I want that journal, save it for me or whatever. I used to do that, but quit doing that. Again, because for me, that was a boundary because it caused me stress. I know that sounds so silly when I say it out loud, but again, like if we were traveling or something and sometimes they'd pay for it ahead of time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, what if something happens to me and I haven't gotten them their journal? And it just stressed me out. And then as far as custom orders went, it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that somebody'd want a journal that I made, but they'd be like, but I want this and I want that and this color and that color and no lace or lots of lace and whatever. And it was just so funny because by the time I got done, it wasn't my journal. It was theirs. You know what I mean? It wasn't my creativity. It was what they were asking for, I guess is a good way to put it. So anyway, stopped doing both speaking for journals and also custom orders. So that kind of leads me to the thought of I do get lots of questions about pricing journals. And I always tell people to go on Etsy and see if you can find one similar to the journal that you're looking to sell and see what others are asking for it. But it's really hard to pinpoint that question because there's so many variables. Like the time that you put into it. Maybe the type of cover, for instance, like a slow stitch cover, like my slow stitch cover journals are considerably more than my other journals because it's taken me usually months to do that cover. That kind of thing. Like how many one-of-a-kind vintage items do you have in that journal? The time, the materials, like have you purchased from another Etsy seller, like for instance, like a padded heart for the cover from Padded Heart Company or something. You got to think about the costs that you have into the journal too. And it's true of any item, not just journals. Yeah, so, the size of the journal, that could be a factor. How many signatures it has, that sort of thing. I don't know. So there's a lot of factors at play. So it's really hard to say you should ask this much for a journal, So anyway, but I do get that question a lot. And then I write out that whole answer that I just gave you. But yeah, it's a tough one. But and the other factor that I had no idea really would factor in, but it obviously does with all goods and services, is demand. You know, if you have an Etsy shop and you have not promoted yourself anywhere, it's gonna be hard for people to find it. You know, maybe they'll find your journal and it's, oh yeah, well that's a really good deal on a journal, right? Whereas somebody will go to my and think, oh, that's more than I want to pay. But my journals go in literally minutes or seconds sometimes. So, you know, having a larger audience and getting, it's just like an artist and their paintings, for instance. You know, the more well-known they are, the more expensive. I mean, Picasso is going to sell for way more than an oil painting by, you know, the guy down the street. you know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors into pricing. It makes it tough. There's not just a quick little answer there. So yeah, oopsie, tore that one. How am I doing time-wise? Oh, we're good. We're good. Yep, tore that one. That's gonna be a place where I tear it for the collage, I guess. I was busy talking and not paying attention. Doesn't matter. It's gonna get all ripped up anyways. Yeah, so I'm excited to do this. So here's what I have left, kind of. Christmas wise, not that will be the end by any means, is I have the two Roxy Creations ones that I told you about. I have one that is Crafty Cat USA, and I have one that I'm not sure, but it's a mixed media cover. So, wow, I'm doing good, guys. I have like about 3 more. Will you talk amongst yourselves while I get some more lotion? I'll be right back. I did not run. See my fun bowl of lotions from Joey? He's such a sweetheart. Hi, Joey. Oh, see, that's the thing that's hard, though, about all the friends that I've made here. I would love to just travel around the world and meet everybody. I really would. It would be so awesome. Like, get a hotel nearby and just go vintage shopping and play in their craft rooms. It would just be so fun. But next best thing, I've done my little July retreat and got to spend time with some folks. But yeah. So anyway, that's the life. That's the life I'm leading. It's pretty charmed. You just got to enjoy it while you can, because you never know what's around the corner. But I sure am enjoying it. Yeah, Mike's asked me, how long do you think you'll do this? And I'm like, till my hands or my eyes or my brain give out. And we've actually talked about moving to a smaller place, but then I have you guys know what how my craft room is. How would I fit? I'm like, okay, this is big enough for me and my craft supplies. Where are you gonna live? Oh, poor guy. Oh, but yeah. Gosh, I had such a lovely, lovely morning yesterday. It was Sunday and it was super quiet in our neighborhood. And it's cool. I mean, it's just been in the 50s here. It was cool, but it was so quiet and so beautiful. It was cloudy, but I don't know, I just had meditative moments in my garden. It was just lovely. I can see why people love gardening. I mean, it's kind of like crafting. It's good for your soul. Yeah, I remember in psychology class something about you need to take care of your physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual selves. I think there should be one more, which is creative. That's what I think. Nobody's asked me, but but I'm telling you, that's what I think. That should be there too. Do you ever just like wake up and think, oh, I cannot wait to try making this or that? And then, I mean, sometimes you make things and you go, oh my, like this. But other times when you make something that you just love, isn't that the best? It's like, ooh, that's pretty. Oh, I love it. So let's see, maybe for new people, I could tell you a little bit about my family. I have 4 kids. My son is the oldest, and then 3 girls. And my oldest daughter's birthday is today when I'm filming this. I'm filming this on a Monday. I'm about a week ahead on my filming, I think. Anyway, she is 44. My son is 46. Well, he will be in 2 weeks. His birthday's the end of the month. And my middle daughter is 41. And my baby will be 40 this coming birthday. So, and then we have 11 grandkids. And so my son has 2 kids, a boy and a girl. My oldest daughter has 2 girls. My middle daughter has 3 boys. And my baby, she took after her mama and had 4 babies herself. Okay, I can't get any more out of that because I'm all goopy. Yeah, so she has 4, a girl and 3 boys. And so, yeah, so that's my family. That's what keeps me busy. And as you know, we like to get to their sports. Let's see, what's this one? Aloe. Oh, lovely. So, yeah, that's my family. I feel like I have had a totally blessed life, not without some bumps. Everybody has bumps, and sometimes really, really hard bumps. But just in general, such a good life. It helps to find the right person to spend it with, doesn't it? Which I did. I had one stutter step before that. I was married very young, and that didn't work out. And so by the time I was 20, I was divorced. And then met my husband and was married when I was 20. We had worked together for a couple of years, and so I knew him pretty well to begin with. So we only dated for 3 months and got married. I'm sure my parents were like, oh my gosh, what is she doing now? But he was the one, and he helped me get out of a really bad situation. He didn't know he did, but when I thought to myself, this guy at work is nicer to me than my husband, I thought, okay, well, I better do something about that. So, yeah. I tried to work it out. I asked him to go to counseling and stuff, but he wouldn't. So there you go. And, there were a lot of reasons for the way he was, and I do understand that. But it was abusive, is what I will get to here. And so there you go. Now, as I look back, I'm proud of myself for getting out of it. My sister helped a lot, though. She was with me through the whole leaving thing and helped me get my stuff and all of that stuff. So having her support made a big difference. So thank you, Vicki. My sister passed away a couple of years ago, but she certainly was there for me in a time when I really, really needed someone. So yeah, not all, rainbows and unicorns, but pretty good other than a few stutter starts. You know what? I only have one more piece. We're going to do it, by golly, and we will have gotten all that Momagami done. I should take it upstairs to dry. Wouldn't that be funny? Have it sitting all over the place. Mike would be like, okay, this has gone too far. Oh. Okay. Sometimes I get a little crazy with the squishing and have trouble getting the ball of paper apart. But so I think I'm going to tore that one in the middle too a little bit. That's okay. Yeah, so we'll be one of these days making this. Yep, that's it. Get a little aloe on this bad boy and we'll be set. Gosh, well, if I've not answered a question that's been burning in your mind, let me know. And as you can tell, I'm happy to answer. I'm, pretty much an open book, this kid. Okay. Well, I am going to lunch with my friend Kelly today, and I am going to have the softest hands. She's going to be like, what have you been doing? Your hands are so soft. I know. It's because I've been Momagami-ing. It is really fun to try a whole bunch of different kinds of paper, too. I did old book page. I did old, old ledgery paper. I did all kinds of paper, but I will say I think I like the thin scrapbook paper the best. It just really crumples up nice, and yet it's still kind of strong. You can do thicker paper than this, but this is my favorite weight to do. I did try a thicker one though, and it worked. So, well, we might have to work on this topper next day or so. I don't know. I don't really know what I want to do. It might be something that comes along after the journal's done. I don't know. But now we've got this ready. I think we have enough to cover the inside and the outside of that piece of Oh, look at there. Oh, oh boy. It's a good thing this is the last one. It's going south quick. Oh dear. Well, thanks for hanging out and having a chat, everybody. I just appreciate you all so much. I mean, what would I do? I'd be sitting here talking to myself. Okay. So we'll put this one back in my little bowl here for me to have my hands not feel dry. Okay. I think we'll call that a video, guys, but I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any other questions, and I will try and answer them. So have a grateful day, everybody. Be kind always, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.